Howdy, it is bear time. I'm going to talk about bears today. I like bears. Bears are cool. I hope you agree. Otherwise, I don't know why you clicked on this video. I'm going to talk about all 8 species of bears. Although it's not going to be anything too in depth, I don't want you to think it is. It's going to be general facts and then some fun facts thrown in there too. But to start this off, I am going to go over facts that are true for all or most bears, and then I'll clarify when it's not true. Just because I see no reason to keep saying the same facts over and over if I can just say, hey, bears in general do this. So, on to that. Bears are omnivores, meaning they eat both meat and plants. Some bears do tend to lean more one way than the other. Like polar bears, they eat mostly meat, and then pandas, they eat mostly plants, bamboo, so that's true. Also, something else about bears is that they are solitary creatures. They tend to be on their own. There are exceptions to this, such as a mother with her cubs, or when there's a bunch of food around. So, if there's a bunch of food in one area, bears will gather together and have a feast, and I think that is a really, really cute. I don't know. I like bear dinner, that they're all just having a nice family dinner together. They put aside their differences for nice little bear dinner. Bears are known for being big and stocky. They also have the ability to walk upright, and this is due to their flat-footedness. And many bears, when they walk, they're pigeon-toed, which is so cute. I love the way bears walk. They are adorable. Something I'm very excited to teach you about is delayed implantation. This is an ability that bears have, where when a female and a male bear mate, the female does not become pregnant right away. She can delay the implantation, hence the name, and wait until she knows her needs are met. So make sure, she has enough weight, make sure she has enough food, that, everything's healthy, that the cubs will be healthy and fine. It also allows her to wait until hibernation for the bears that do hibernate, for her to have the babies. Wait until after she's hibernated and to have that period of rest so they can be born when it's warm and they have food available. But if these needs cannot be met, the bear can also choose to just not be pregnant. It's so bizarre and such a cool adaptation. Bears usually have 2 cubs on average. They can have more. Other than pandas, they usually only have one. And the cubs will stay with their mom for like 1.5 to 2 years. And again, that's the only time you're really going to see bears together is when it's a mom and cubs most of the time, or mating season. Speaking of male and female bears, bears are an animal that practices sexual dimorphism. Hopefully I said that right. My mouth keeps struggling on that word. We're just going to roll with it. This concept refers to how animals of the same species can look different if they're male or female. So, in the case of bears, males are bigger than the females. Bears are not only cute and cool in my professional opinion. We're going to pretend I'm a professional for the sake of the argument, so no one can argue with me on this fact. But they're also very important for the ecosystem. One way that they're important is they are actually seed dispersers. So bears will eat fruit and veggies and whatnot, and then when they poop, the seeds are still in there and it's scattered around, and then plants grow, and it's good stuff. The earth likes it. I asked. Lastly, I want to say that not all bears hibernate. Hibernation only occurs to help bears out when it gets really cold and they know that, there's not going to be a lot of food available. So it's better for them and better for their chances of survival to be able to sleep out the winter and hold on to that food storage in them. A lot of their body temperature lowers, their metabolism lowers, and it just helps them get through it. So if they live somewhere where it's warm all the time, or even where it's cold all the time and they eat a different food that's not plants, they don't really have a need to hibernate. It's not useful at all. I do want to say though that the bears that do hibernate are not in a true hibernation. Their body temperature does drop, but not enough to be considered true hibernation. This also means that they can be woken up. It is more kind of just like a sleep, so I would hope you wouldn't disturb bears regardless, but don't disturb one under the guise of like, oh, it's hibernating. It can't wake up and hurt me. It can wake up and hurt you. While we're talking about not disturbing bears and being safe around them, I also want to say if you're around somewhere where there's a lot of bears, please make sure your food and your trash is stored appropriately, because if they get into it and they start eating it, they're going to associate that place and people with food, and then it just becomes very bad and dangerous for bears and humans alike. Now into specific bears, we're going to start with the black bear. These guys are found all across North America, which is a good time to bring up what I was talking about earlier, where, if there's a wide expanse of land and bears are found all across it, they're going to be different depending on where exactly they live. So, an example of these bears are there's many different colors of black bear. Don't let the name black bear deceive you. They're not all black. They can be black. They can also be brown, white, gray. Some even have a bluish tint to them, which is cool. I also want to mention the white bears are known as spirit bears, and they're very sacred to many Native Americans. And I just find that really cool. It'd be a cool rabbit hole to go down if you guys are interested in that. I don't really feel qualified enough or like I know enough about it to speak on it, but it would be cool to learn about if I don't know. I just want to send people in rabbit holes. These bears do in fact hibernate. They also have relatively short claws compared to other bears. I want to get this very clear. They still have big old claws. They can still hurt you. Don't be safe. But just compared to other bears. So because of that, they're not really good at digging. They're good at climbing, just not so much digging. Now for the weight and the height, I'm going to talk about male bears just because they are bigger, and I feel like people tend to want to hear about the bigger thing. The bigger numbers tend to be cooler. It's like, wow, that's a pretty big bear. So just putting that out there. The male black bears can be from 125 to 661 pounds, and when standing, so this is from feet to head, they can be 4 to 6 feet tall. Now on to brown bears. These guys are also found in North America, and along with that, they can also be found in Europe and Asia. And they also hibernate. These guys also come in various shades. I mean, obviously, if they're found in so many places, they're going to come in various shades. They're also, which I find kind of funny, they're the flip side of black bears, where they're not very good at climbing trees, but they're good at digging. And again, don't get me wrong, they're going to be much better climbing trees than any of us will be. It's just, again, compared to other bears. These bears are notable because they have this big hump on their back that other bears don't have, so you'll know it when you see it. It's very evident. The males can range from 200 to 1,500 pounds, so that's a big bear. And when standing, they can be anywhere from 5 to 10 feet tall. In my opinion, these bears have some really good examples of the differences that location can make on what the bears look like and how they act. So I want to talk about one that's to do with how it looks. In the middle of North America, brown bears are known as grizzly bears. That's because of the way they look. They have this white tipped fur, and grizzly means being speckled with gray or white. So it's just cool seeing, just this difference. Like we even have a whole different name for what we call this bear just because it looks different. Another good example is the Kodiak bear. This is also a brown bear, but these bears are the big ones. When I was saying there was bears that get up to, or brown bears that get up to 10 feet, it's these ones. These are huge bears. And again, it's because of where they live, they have different behaviors. So these bears, yes, they're omnivores, but they eat mostly meat. They eat salmon. There's a lot of salmon in Alaska where they live, so they take advantage. So eating all the salmon is what allows them to grow so big. And something really, really cute is they have yearly salmon runs. So when there's a bunch of salmon, all the bears will get together. They'll have a little bear dinner. Again, they're solitary, but they come together for this family dinner. They also have a hierarchy in how they eat the salmon. So the big old males go first, the mom with the cubs, and then goes down the line, which is kind of cool. It makes sense. I don't know. I'm just a really big fan of bear dinner, them all getting together, eating salmon, having a nice time. I would love to be there. Would I get mauled? Possibly, but I'd go out happy. Now, back to black bears, but this time it's the Asiatic black bear. Hence the name, these bears are black. They can have a brownish hue to them. They also have a white mark on their chest that's kind of in a crescent shape. They also have this very shaggy mane on their neck. It's very cute. I don't know. I'm a big fan of how it looks. And, much like the name suggests, these bears are native to Asia, specifically Eastern Asia. And these bears, the males, range from 130 to 440 pounds. And when standing, they are 5 to 6 feet. Many of these bears hibernate, but not all of them. So yeah, just due to loss of environment and poaching and stuff that happens, they just tend to be a little hard to observe, so that's why I don't have the most information. But I do want to leave off with saying these bears are known as moon bears because of the crescent moon shape on their chest, which is so cute. Little moon bears, that's such a cute name. On the flip side, we have the sun bear, which, the moon bear and the sun bear, that's adorable. These guys are native to Asia also, Southeast Asia to be specific. They're called sun bears because, much like the Asiatic black bears, they have a mark on their chest, but this mark on their chest of white fur looks like a rising sun, some people say. This is the smallest bear species. The males range from 60 to 150 pounds, and they are 4 to 5 feet tall. Also, I want to mention these are the bears that one was at a, I think, Chinese zoo, and people were so convinced it wasn't real because of how they look. And I don't know, I love these. I love goofy looking bears so much. These bears don't hibernate, and they're also good climbers. It's really important that they're good climbers because a lot of the food that they like to eat are in trees, such as insects, termites, and honey. They love honey. These bears are very well adapted for how they get their food, and it plays into why they look a little weird. So for one, they have a really long tongue that's used to extract, the insects and the termites and the honey. They can like stick it in the mound or stick it in the beehive. And, it's gonna look weird when an animal has a really long tongue. That's just gonna happen. They also have really loose skin and a lot of fur that is used to protect them from bites from these insects and stings from the bee. But when an animal has really loose skin, again, that's why it kind of looks like a suit, as people say. They thought the bear in the zoo was a man in a suit. It also helps them with fighting, because another animal tries to bite onto it, they can't get a good latch, because, it's saggy skin. They're just gonna get the skin in their mouth, nothing more. Also, really funny, these bears have beef with farmers, which I guess isn't really funny, because the farmers try to hurt them sometimes, so that isn't funny. But I don't know, I always find it funny when there's just random beef between, like, farmers and an animal, as long as the farmers aren't trying to hurt them. When I like the mild annoyance, not the hurt. But it's because they like stuff like coconuts and palm oil, and so they try to take it, and obviously farmers are like, hey, those are ours. So I think it's funnier in my head because I just imagine like a cartoon version of it. But yeah, didn't that bear have such nice adaptations for the food it eats and for survival? Isn't that really nice? Now let's talk about a bear that does not have any of that. The giant panda. These guys, also native to Asia, I love them. They're so cute. I adore giant pandas. But I don't really understand how they're still existing. So let's get the basic facts out of the way. These guys don't hibernate. The males are 220 to 330 pounds and they're 4 to 6 feet standing. They're also good climbers. These bears are omnivores like all other bears, but they do very much prefer bamboo. They're going to want to eat bamboo. But their stomach is more, or their digestive system is more akin to a carnivore, so the bamboo doesn't do much for them. In order to get the fuel, the sustenance that they need, they have to eat 70 to 100 pounds of bamboo a day. These guys spend most of their day eating and getting food. That is what their day consists of. And when they're not doing that, they're sleeping. Which again, it is normal for most bears to spend a lot of their time sleeping and eating. But at least they're getting sustenance when they eat. These guys, they're not, and then they're just taking little naps between their food. They're not even getting they're not getting their good 9 hours of sleep that you should be getting. I don't know why I'm lecturing you now. I don't know. But yeah, they nap between meals. But it's not just that they nap between meals, it's that while they're sleeping, they're also pooping in their sleep. They're pooping out all that they ate. It just like goes through them. But they can't fully digest bamboo. They can't even do it. And these guys just poop all the time. They're a type of animal that like doesn't care about having poop all around. They don't care about being clean. They'll be walking, they'll poop. They'll be playing, they poop. And it's just all around them and they don't care. I will give them this though. they have adapted to have an enlarged wrist bone. And this works as a pseudo thumb, so it like helps them hold the bamboo. And they sit upright and they eat the bamboo while sitting upright, which you gotta admit is really, really cute. So now that I've said something nice about them, I'm gonna go back to being like, how are they existing? So, these guys are also notoriously bad at reproducing. The female bears only ovulate 2 to 3 days a year. That is not normal for bears. It's just pandas only have a very little range. And then when they have the baby, most bears have, two, but they can't have more. These bears usually only have one. And if there is another baby, the panda doesn't take care of the other one. It just takes care of one. Only one. These bears only have about 5 litters in their lifetime, and the babies are 1/900th the size of the mom. That's very little compared to the mom. So sometimes accidents happen too, and the baby doesn't even make it. And I don't know what to say. Speaking of saying, these bears are very vocal, which is cool. I'll give them that. I like their noises. I think they're cute. Now, back to them being a little silly. These bears also mark their territory with anal gland secretions, which that's normal for animals, that happens. But in order to get it higher up on what they're marking, they'll do a handstand. The bear will do a handstand to put his butt up higher so that he can mark up higher. Right. What is he doing? Also, the best part. You want to know why they're black and white? We don't know. Scientists don't know for sure. Okay, I will give them. Scientists they hypothesize that it's for camouflage, but again, we don't know for sure. They just look like that. Although they do look really cute, so again, I'll give them that. They do just look like that, but the way they look is actually really, really adorable. Okay, that was passive aggressive. I love them. I'm just in astonishment after learning what I've learned, and I just don't know how they're. I mean, they're endangered, but I don't know. Let's talk about the sloth bear. These are another silly looking bear. I think they're so cute. I say that about every bear, but this one is so, so cute. I want one and I want to put it in my pocket and like have it forever. These guys are also native to Asia. They are black and very shaggy, fluffy. They also, like other Asian bears, have a white mark on their chest. Theirs are in the shape of like a U or V. They're 200 to 320 pounds and they stand from 5 to 6 feet. Again, these are the males, and they don't hibernate. They love termites and ants. That's their favorite, that's their food of choice. They find it very scrumptious. I don't know why I'm saying this like that. They have very good adaptations that allow them to eat termites and ants. Because if you're going to try to eat something like that, it might hurt if you don't have good adaptations. I cannot speak very well, can I? My speech struggles aside, one adaptation they have is long curved claws. This helps them dig into termite mounds or ant hills and get them out. It also is part of the reason they're called sloth bears because of long claws. Another reason they're called sloth bears is because they're missing their 2 front top teeth, and they're so goofy looking. There's a reason for this besides it just being a little silly looking. I mean, I do like to imagine that, like, God was like, hey, I'm gonna make this animal look a little silly because I can, and I respect that a lot actually. But it actually helps them slurp up insects. They can make a suction with their lips and tongue and slurp in the termites and ants. They also have a lot of fur. It helps protect them from the bites because, as you can imagine, there would be a lot of angry bugs. And they can actually close their nostrils in order to keep the bugs from getting inside their nose, which is great. That is lovely because I would never try to eat a termite mound, or an ant mound, but I just wouldn't want ants or termites going up my nose, so I'm glad they don't have to deal with that. And because their claws are so long, including their back claws, it makes them walk a little funny. Cause like they got. I would love to see one walk in a hallway and hear the little tip tap tap of the little claws. I love it. Also, before I finish with this bear, I want to mention that their sight and their hearing aren't as good as other bears, which is kind of strange, but they do smell very well. They don't, or good. They don't smell good to us. I mean, I would assume they're stinky. I haven't met one, but their sense of smell is. I could have said this so much better, but I'm gonna leave this in because I don't know. Now, on to the spectacled bear. I said that so wrong. Spectacled bear, also known as the Andean bear. These bears are native to South America, and I want to say they're called spectacle bears because of the pattern they have on their face. They have lighter fur on their face, and for a lot of bears, it looks like they're wearing glasses, like little spectacles, which is so adorable. I love that someone went, "Oh, this bear looks like it's wearing glasses. Let's name it after that." They're so studious. These bears don't hibernate. They also make nests and platforms. They'll build these out of branches and stuff in the trees, so it helps them reach food and little nests that they can, snooze in. Pretty cute. They are the second most vocal bear. Pandas are actually the most vocal. I don't know if I mentioned that they were the most vocal. They are 220 to 440 pounds and they stand from 5 to 6 feet tall. Oh, not only are they native to South America, they're actually the only bear native to South America, which I wanted to mention because that's pretty cool. They run that place. Them and their little glasses. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the polar bear. They're native to North America, Europe, and Asia. I probably should have put them back toward the beginning after brown bears if I was going for like the grouping of where they're from, but I wanted to leave off strong. I feel like polar bears are a very cool bear, very strong one to leave off on. The males range from 550 to 1,700 pounds, and they are 7 to 10 feet tall when standing, so these are some pretty hefty bears. It's because they live somewhere where it's cold, so instead of eating plants, they really mainly eat meat. They really like seals in particular. I want to leave off with this one too because it has such strong adaptations for its environment that's really impressive to me. So, for example, their skin is actually black. I know they look white, but their skin itself is black, and this helps them stay warm because it attracts the sunlight, which is really important in such a cold environment. They also have a very thick layer of fat on them that also helps them stay warm because again, it's cold where they live. They live in the Arctic. They look white. Their fur is actually transparent, but it appears white, which is very important for camouflage. It helps them a lot in hunting. Their feet in particular are very well adapted. They have good traction on their feet to help with the ice so they're not, all slipping and sliding. They also have very wide feet to help distribute their weight to keep the ice from, cracking, breaking under their weight. They also have webbing between their toes, which is very important because they spend a lot of time in the water, so much so that they're actually considered marine mammals. So they're either in the water or they're on sea ice, not so much regular land. I mean, they do go on there, but the food they eat is in the water. They like seals, for example, and so they gotta spend a lot of time in the water hunting. So many bears that don't hibernate, it's because it's so warm that the food that they need is always available, so there's no use in hunting. But for them, it's actually so cold all the time that, again, there's no use. The food that they have is always available because it's always cold there. They had to find something to eat. They're not so much reliant on plants, they're reliant on animals that are used to cold, like the seals. Despite not hibernating, female polar bears actually do still den. They do this because, or the pregnant ones do, not just female ones in general. They do this so that way when they have the cubs, they're born in a warmer environment. The den is much warmer than if they were born just out in the open, and it also helps protect them. Lastly, we have Freddy Fazbear. He's native to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and so I hope you enjoyed my little cabin I made. I think it's cute. I like my little cabin. I want to live here. Actually, I'm really proud of it after showing my boyfriend because the first thing he said to me was, "Wow, this looks really good. I want to live there." And I think that means I did a very good job. So, validation. Woo. I also got to learn a lot about bears for this. I love animals. I plan to make a lot of videos that have to do with animals just because it's always been something I'm really passionate about and I love, and this gives me a fun reason to learn about different animals. I tried to incorporate some bear stuff in here where I could. It was mainly like little baskets or like a little picture, but I don't know. I like it. It's cozy. I'm also really proud of my bear proof trash can thing that I'm building right now. I'm watching myself build it. Took me forever to find a gate that matched. Let me tell you, I struggled. But yeah, I need to keep the bears safe, away from the trash and food. Everyone safe. You're welcome. I literally just saved your life right now. Hope you enjoyed the facts, the build, any of it. Bye bye. Have a good day. That's all.